He was bleeding from his skull. A bone fragment had entered his brain. Doctors operated for hours. When he woke up, he had a hole in his head. A literal hole that never fully closed. The film set where it happened. They kept shooting. 3 months later, he was back in front of the camera. This was not the worst thing that ever happened to Jackie Chan. Doctors told him to stop. Studios begged him to use doubles. Hollywood said he'd never make it. Producers said he could never replace Bruce Lee. Jackie Chan had one response to all of it. He went back to work. The most dangerous man in cinema died at 32, and before his body was cold. Every studio in Hong Kong was already asking the same question. Who is the next Bruce Lee? Bruce Lee didn't move like a man. He moved like something that had evolved past men. Every strike precise, every frame iconic. He didn't get hit, he didn't stumble, he didn't bleed on screen. He was a god, and the industry wanted another one. The answer they settled on was a 20-year-old, trained in Peking opera, fast, disciplined, hungry, relentless, fearless. They put him in 2 films designed to clone Lee's style. Same moves, same stare, same everything. Both bombed, not quietly, publicly, visibly, in front of the entire industry.
Look at this trash! They say your movie has no energy!
His name was now attached to failure. Not just any failure. The failure to replace a legend. Think about what that does to a person. You were told you were the chosen one. You tried. You gave everything. And the world looked at you and said, not even close. That is a specific kind of humiliation that doesn't leave quietly. It follows you into every room, sits across from you at every meeting, whispers every time you look in the mirror. You're a copy, an inferior copy, of someone the world already lost and mourned. Most people collapse under that. Most people quietly accept the verdict, adjust the dream down, find a smaller version of the life they originally wanted. Jackie Chan didn't collapse. He started asking a different question. Not, how do I become Bruce Lee, but what can I do that Bruce Lee never did? Bruce Lee was untouchable. Jackie Chan decided to be something more dangerous. A director named Yuen Wu Ping pulled him into a small room. No cameras, no audience. 4 words, fall down, be funny. Bruce Lee never fell. That was the point. The film they made together was Snake in the Eagle's Shadow. Jackie stumbled, got hit, made the audience laugh, and then made them gasp in the same breath. Highest grossing film in Hong Kong that year. The next one, Drunken Master, even bigger. A new genre was born. Not the invincible warrior, not the superhuman god. A man who got hit, got back up, made you laugh, then took your breath away. Jackie Chan didn't replace Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was a myth. Jackie Chan became proof. Proof that a real human being, broken, rejected, written off, could become impossible to forget. Here is where the story gets complicated. Because at some point, you have to ask the question nobody wants to ask. Was he proving his courage, or was he addicted to the pain? Consider what he was willing to accept. Police story. He slid down a pole wrapped in exploding light bulbs. 2 stories, no padding. His hands were burned, his pelvis dislocated on impact. He did it 3 times to get the shot right. Project A. He fell from the top of a clock tower. 3 stories, through 2 awnings, onto concrete, his neck, his shoulder. He landed on his head. He did it twice more for coverage. Armor of God. A jump toward a tree branch. The branch snapped. He fell onto solid rock. A fragment of his skull entered his brain. Emergency surgery in Portugal. A hole in his head that never closed.
I have a hole in my head. That's a hole. Put your finger.
Oh, hell no.
3 months later, back on set. Now, you can call that courage. Most people do, but courage usually knows when to stop. Jackie Chan never stopped. He said it once, quietly, like it was the most obvious thing in the world. If I use a double, I'm lying to the audience. Maybe that's integrity. Maybe that's a man who doesn't know who he is without the danger. Maybe it's both. What we do know is this. The hole in his skull became something else over time. It became the symbol, the price of refusing to lie, the cost of doing it yourself, the mark that separates the people who talk about commitment from the ones who carry it in their bones. At the height of his dominance in Asia, Hollywood came knocking. 3 films, major studios, real money, Battle Creek Brawl, The Cannonball Run, The Protector, all 3 flopped. Not because Jackie wasn't extraordinary, because Hollywood didn't understand what made him extraordinary. They stripped out the comedy, the vulnerability, the humanity. They took away everything that made him different from every other action star. And then they were confused when he was just another action star. The verdict from Hollywood was delivered without ceremony. You don't work here. Think about what that means. A man who had spent his entire childhood being trained to perform, a man who had rebuilt his identity from scratch after the Bruce Lee comparisons destroyed it, a man who had nearly died on a mountainside to prove he was worth watching. And the most powerful film industry in the world looked at all of that and said, not good enough. There was a night where he sat alone in a hotel room in Los Angeles and genuinely didn't know if he'd made a mistake. Whether the version of himself he'd invented, the falls, the comedy, the human vulnerability, whether any of it actually mattered outside of Hong Kong, whether he was just a man who had broken his body for an audience that didn't exist yet. He went back to Hong Kong, not defeated, furious, and remember the skull fracture from the opening, the bone in his brain, the hole that never closed. That happened here, during this period, during the comeback. While Hollywood was writing him off, he was filming Armor of God and nearly dying on a Portuguese mountainside, and he went back to work anyway. Film after film, each one more undeniably him. Police Story, Project A, Drunken Master 2. While Hollywood executives were closing their files on him, the rest of the world was falling in love. France, Australia, Japan, India, everywhere that wasn't Hollywood understood exactly what they were watching. When Hollywood called the third time, Jackie had conditions, his stunts, his style, his terms. Non-negotiable, or he wasn't coming. They agreed. Rush Hour, $244 million worldwide. The man they said didn't work in America became one of the highest paid actors in the world. The hotel room in Los Angeles. The doubt, the silence, the question of whether any of it mattered. It mattered. It always mattered. They just weren't ready for it yet. At the end of every Jackie Chan film, something unusual happens. During the closing credits, they show the outtakes, the ones where things went wrong. A stunt fails, a bone snaps, a man hits the ground hard and takes a moment to get up. And then he gets up every single time. That is not an accident, that is the message. You are watching a real human being pay the real price for the thing you are about to enjoy. The hole in his skull is still there. 40 years later, you can see it if you look closely. A small depression behind his right ear. Most people spend their lives trying to avoid the thing that might leave a mark. Jackie Chan collected the marks. Every scar, a proof of concept. Every fracture, a document. Every injury filed under one heading. I was here. I did it. It was real. 150 films, over 40 years, an honorary Oscar. The most recognized face in Asia, one of the most recognized faces on Earth. Not because he was the most gifted, not because the path was clear, not because the world believed in him when it mattered most, because he made the only decision that actually separates people. He refused to stop. Think about the version of yourself you keep putting off becoming. The project, the attempt, the thing you know you need to do but keep finding reasons to avoid. Jackie Chan went to work with a bone in his brain. What is your excuse? He didn't ask for a story worth telling. He built one. Fall by fall, bone by bone, film by film. That hole in his skull, that's not a wound. That's a signature, the mark of a man who paid full price for a life worth remembering. Make it.
A lot.